I've been thinking a lot lately about what it is that makes us human. What is it that separates us from those millions of years of evolutionary history that came before? Why have we been able to build wonders, architecture, engineering like this building, all the way up to the Burj Khalifa and the Empire State Building? What has enabled us to create societies, civilizations, and communities? If we look at the animal world, plenty of different groups of animals can create tools which they can use to help them in their lives, from crows all the way up to chimpanzees. But no one would deny there is just something about us that makes us special. When we make tools, we don't mess around. Uniquely in the animal world, we have the ability to make tools that can create more tools. A cycle which can continue on. We seek connection. We care about things. We feel deeply. We create meaning in the world around us, attributing it to seemingly mundane things going on, from trees to elaborate architecture, and most importantly of all, to stories. Because uniquely in the animal world, and as far as we're aware, uniquely in the entire known universe, we are the storytelling species. Now, I'm not just talking about telling your child a bedtime story or watching an episode of The Simpsons, but I suppose I am, because the stories that we tell ourselves and the stories that we tell others in our communities, our family groups, our nations now, and disparate groups spread across the entire world, are completely integral to the way that we see the world around us, to that meaning which we give to everything and this world which we inhabit. For as long as we have been human, and perhaps even before, at least for 100,000 years, probably hundreds of thousands of years. The evidence doesn't really survive from that far back for things like this. But we have told stories, and it has been completely integral to how human societies have functioned. It's been completely integral to how we pass down knowledge from one generation to the next, which again, as far as we're aware, is completely unique in the animal world. In recent years, biologists have come to the realization that we aren't alone in being these incredibly intelligent animals. Octopi, for example, seem to be incredibly intelligent. In their single lifetimes, they can do all sorts of things. They learn, they interact with humans even coming into their environment. But the thing is with octopi, they can't pass that knowledge down to the next generation. It isn't hardwired into their biology. But we're different. Human culture is what separates us from the rest of the animals. Human culture is this accumulated knowledge that we've developed over tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years. And how is this knowledge passed on from one generation to the next? Through stories. Stories enable us to contemplate the deeper meaning of the universe and imagine new worlds, be they alternate, future, in the past, or entirely fictional. Stories motivate us. They teach us about the world around us, enabling us to understand reality, to make order from chaos, to build social bonds between group members, and perhaps most importantly, to inspire action. How many times throughout human history has one single storyteller shaped immeasurably complex events to come from a single yarn spun on the weave of time? This knock-on effect stemming from the human imagination alone. This unique thing that we have that separates us from everything that's ever come before and anything that we can ever even dream of. This innate creativity that every single one of us carries around inside us is what makes us human. The ability to create something from nothing. Whether it's a skill passed down from one generation to the next through storytelling, through teaching, through passing down the knowledge, or some spark that an individual throughout time may just come up with on their own. This is what it means to be human. From the painters on the cave walls 50,000 years ago and more, to the carvers of prehistoric Venus figurines in Ice Age Europe, and even further back in the shell carvings and geometric patterns in places as far afield as Indonesia and Africa. We, and those who came before us, have always sought to create meaning from the world around us, and maybe to leave a little bit of ourselves in it for those who come after, to tell us that we were here, we existed. Well, you may be able to see where I'm going with this, because recently this innate creativity of the human species, this innate storytelling ability that we have inside us, has faced the biggest problem that it might ever face, certainly has ever faced thus far. I'm talking about AI, of course. Not the AI that's supposedly going to cure cancer, not AI that is going to create self-driving cars, not AI that is going to supposedly change humanity for the better. I'm talking about the AI that is learning language models. The AI that is removing the ability of millions of people, billions eventually, to think for themselves. This independent spark of creativity that is being lost amidst homogeneous slop, you might call it, or just mundanity, sameness, and lack of originality that stems from this increased use of ChatGPT and all these slop-making machines. Some of my favourite pieces of art are ones that are unlike anything else. There's only one Tolkien. There's only one 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's only one Pink Floyd. The problem with this AI-generated content isn't so much the content itself. It's the effect that it has overall, long-term, on humanity. If everybody is encouraged to create the same thing, if AI does it all for us, no longer will we have a Dark Side of the Moon. No longer will we have a Lord of the Rings. What we will have is homogeneous works, if you can call them that are in the middle of everything. The absolute average, the median, right in the centre. Nothing out here, nothing up there, nothing down there. As far as I'm concerned, out here at the fringes, this is where the real magic happens. This is how you get an Arthur C. Clarke. This is how you get an Isaac Asimov. This is how you get a Stanley Kubrick. Not just asking a machine to create everything for us, to give away this gift that we have been bestowed by biology or the divine, whichever way you want to look at it. And this is a real problem. The biggest problem of our times, as far as I'm concerned. If we just pump out writing styles that are popular, middle of the road, generic, there's no individuality left. Not to mention if those who aren't really interested in creativity or creation, but they're only interested in financial gain, if they start pumping out, as they already do, content on a massive scale, then those truly great creators are lost in the flood. And this is only going to get worse. I love humans. I love being human. And I'm not convinced that some of these tech overlords feel the same way. I think they'd be perfectly happy to homogenise everything and have everybody just dull, middle of the road, all into the same things, no originality, buying everything that they're selling. So ask yourself this next time you go and use one of these ChatGPT things. What do you like? What makes you individually human? What makes you tick? Not what does ChatGPT think. I don't think there's going to be a great AI apocalypse. I don't think Skynet is going to kill us all. I don't think it's going to be an iRobot situation. But I think it's going to be much more like the idea that Noah Yuval Harari had in his book Homo Deus a few years ago. These algorithms are going to rule our lives. Agency is going to be gone. Individuality will be stamped out. And what makes us human, when we outsource it to machines and we give up on the creative spark that has always defined us, is going to change. And I, for one, want no part of it. Well, you might think that I'm overreacting. And maybe I am. But just to be on the safe side, I think we should all be really just analysing a bit more where our information comes from. These learning language models, or LLMs, are not really artificial intelligence at all. What they do is they accumulate vast amounts of information that is gathered from all over the internet, much of which has been taken without permission from the artists and the creators responsible for the original work, including my own. And they combine it all together to create sort of like a homogenized version of everything. That's where you get these YouTube thumbnails and even videos now, entire documentaries, if you can call them that, hours and hours long of these images. They all look the same because they're all pumped out from the same bits of software using the same art as inputs. And there's nothing new, there's nothing original. And what happens when the inputs stop and all we have are outputs of all the things that have already been put in? Well, that's when we stop seeing real human creation anymore. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. All through history, whenever anyone has outsourced the entirety of what they do to somebody else, it's gone terribly wrong. The Spanish Empire in the 17th century, for example, they outsourced their shipbuilding. They outsourced much of their creation of things and engineering to Northern Europeans, for example, like the Brits and the Swedes. And what happened? The Brits and the Swedes and the Northern Europeans, the Dutch, were the best ship makers. They were the best shipbuilders, and they used that technology against the Spanish. The cycle has continued time and time and time again. You could look at the West right now. In the 70s, we began outsourcing all of our creativity, all of our big engineering anyway, to the Chinese. And who are the biggest creators of anything in the world now? The Chinese. The patterns are obvious, and the potential issues too. But I think above all, one of the worst things about this AI revolution which we're in now is that individual human voices are lost. That personal touch which makes a Van Gogh painting, an Explosions in the Sky record special is being lost. With AI music heading up to the charts now, AI books and videos and films, actors even, being very much in the works, where this is going to go, I don't know. But it doesn't seem good to me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. It's all for now, folks.